are back.
Amazing.
Do you name your pieces before or after when you're painting them?
It varies. This one is actually quite significant. It's called the Remembering Tide.
Okay.
And it's going to be kind of the title piece of my new series, I think. And it's just about this new creative and spiritual awakening that I'm going through with my art and connecting with all of these worlds I've created already while expanding them, and also very much connecting to music with my painting. Sometimes the title comes right away, and then sometimes it changes or it comes later.
I really like this one. Is this one part of the series as well?
Yeah, so this character has been named Zephyr. He's kind of loosely inspired by Lane Staley from Alice in Chains.
Love it.
But he's like this underworld rock god. So we've also been exploring this underworld, like 80s neon temple music storyline, and he's kind of the central figure of it. So this is one of the first paintings in this series that I'm going to do around him and his band, and it has all this mythology connected to it. My coworker said she had a dream of me painting a nautilus, and I was like, oh yeah, I've definitely painted nautiluses before. And she's like, well, it had a human eye, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, I definitely have to paint that. So this creature has become incorporated into the storyline.
It's the color choices is the one thing that really drew me to your artwork.
Yeah, I think earlier. Color has a lot of meaning, and I find, you know, these kind of otherworldly colors that are inspired by the ocean are really what resonates with me. That's what I love about creativity. To me, like, the world of creativity and art and being an artist is a world where there's no limits. And I think we place so many limits on ourselves. So when I'm painting, I'm completely free. I don't have to limit myself, because with paint, the only limit you have really is your imagination and, I mean, your technical ability as well, but I keep improving on that.
Do you find that there's specific techniques that are your favorite?
Well, I like to, for me, I want my paintings to be very rich, and when you see them in person, you really see the richness of the layers. And I do a lot of glazing, and I really layer the colors, so I will never paint just one flat color. It's always built up over many layers, traditional glazing techniques, dry brushing, and that's how I create a real depth and richness in my art.
It's a really cool process getting to watch you do your work too.
I think my vision has been getting worse over the years. I went to see an optometrist, and they're like, okay, well, you got a stronger prescription as usual, but you now have to wear magnifiers over your contacts.
Oh no.
To like really
get to the finer details.
But it's actually great, because I love detail. I like getting very detailed with my work. So with the magnifiers, I could like really zoom in, and I'm like, oh, my work is becoming less impressionistic and more detailed. So
that's awesome. It's weird how those little things in life that we think may be a detriment to us end up being like our superpowers. That looks so cool when the color starts to come out.
Yeah, it's just a process of layering.
I've never fully understood the concept of layering. That's where I think I struggle the most.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the biggest things that I teach in my lessons, because a lot of people they'll draw something out and then they'll fill it in like paint by number.
Yeah.
But to me, that's the wrong way to paint. It's all about building from the background forward and creating depth and layers and building things up gradually. It's not filling in the colors to create like 3-dimension and richness. It's about building up layers of color and layers of paint. So that's definitely, it's a technique that I've really focused on and developed over the years. I do a lot of underwater work, so I need to be able to paint fish really well and understand fish better and their anatomy, and I have to improve painting fish. So I did spend a lot of time doing fish studies. I did a painting where I challenged myself to paint 100 different fish, some of them realistic, some of them fantasy. And, you know, I improved my skills at painting fish just by practice and study. I really love painting underwater things because it's all about the light. It's how the light reflects on things, and things in the ocean and underwater are also often like so colorful and bioluminescent, and I just love playing with light and color. So
that is one thing I really appreciated, was the lighting and how you managed to capture it really well.
I love the way light shines down through the surface of the water, and I also love how it reflects on the ocean floor.
Yeah.
It's been something that's always fascinated me. So
ripple effect.
yeah, I've developed a lot of different techniques as ways of representing that. Yeah, so I usually get the painting to a certain point, I work my way down, and then I go back at the top and I keep adding. And
will you start with the one color and just work your way down?
I always do the background first. When I'm doing a painting like this that has a lot of elements, I try to move around so the colors, you know, so it's not like very different colors for every creature.
Okay.
So there's some consistency in the piece. So I do hop around a bit.
I love it. It's cool to see. And what, like, for me, it's like wondering how your mind's working as you're looking at it. Like, oh, okay, this finger needs lighting here, or it's crazy to watch an artist in the moment versus getting to see the final product. Have you ever gone like live from your socials while painting?
No, I share on my stories. I just can't be bothered a lot of times. I've done some painting videos and stuff like that on YouTube. I did do some live streamed painting things before, but you know, it's if I'm doing it by myself, it's a bit of a nuisance setting up the camera and
Totally understandable.
all of that. So that's why it's great to have someone film, because I don't have to do that side of things.
Do you bounce back and forth between them as your inspiration wanes from one to the other?
Yeah, and it keeps it fresh. But right now there's so many pieces I want to create, so I'm also being a little bit like, okay, I need to work on multiples at the same time to be able to keep up with my imagination.
I really appreciate the way the light's coming from the top of the page or the canvas down.
You know, there's going to be a lot more highlights and lighting in here, and then there's going to be this like mysterious, like eerie green light coming from the violin forming into this figure.
Okay.
So lighting is definitely something that I love playing with art. And it brings drama, and it just brings things to life.
It really brings a life to your paintings as well. But I don't see in a lot of other people's.
That's really what defines form, you know, in the 3D is light and shadow. So I just like to take it to the next level and really play with that a lot and light up certain things, and like some things I'll add more shadows to bring them back, and certain things will come forward, and helps to play into the storyline as well.
I love how creatives create these stories and backstories to their artwork.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's like a personal mythology, and it's you know, humans have always been into storytelling, but to me it's also like every single painting has so much meaning to me personally that a lot of the meanings in stories I never tell, but some of them are more universal than others.
I think that's relatable, especially as a musician, because a lot of the time when we're writing a song for ourselves, for example, it's interpreted totally different by the people who are listening to it.
Yeah, and it always will be.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is fun to know what the artist intended to, and their story and everything.
It's so stunning.
It's coming, it's getting there. It's always one thing. The reason I like to rotate paintings too is that it's important to take breaks and to step back from things so you can see it clearly, because if you're just focused in for hours, you might not be seeing it properly. It's really important to step back. So
yeah, I can understand that.
Even like physically stepping back, but also like, you know, taking a moment and working on something else is equally important. I want to work on these little pleco guys a little bit more too. I've recently started incorporating these plecostomus fish into my paintings, which they do have personal meaning to me. and they just kind of are taking over some of my paintings.
So you usually start with your rough idea of where you're wanting things.
It's very much about starting off very rough and loose. And to me, I really enjoy working that way because being rough and loose and expressive is where, the whole joy of painting could come through. That's what abstract painters love, is just mark making, laying the paint down. And I get to still enjoy that while gradually working towards creating something that's more realistic. So it always starts loose and messy, and then it gets refined as I move forward. And that's what I enjoy is, creating a representational painting that still looks like a painting, that you see the brush strokes, you see the mark making, but it's still very detailed and realistic at the same time, which to me, that's why I prefer, old school traditional painting by hand versus digital art, because the artist's hand is visible. It's funny because people always look at my art and they're like, oh, are you a diver? Like, why do you paint the ocean so much? And I'm like, to me, the ocean is the planet. Most of the planet is water. It's like what gives us life. It's so essential to everything, and there's so much meaning in the ocean. So to me, it's not just about I'm a diver, I'm interested in coral reefs. It's more so the meaning behind the ocean and the significance of it. And I also try to bring a little bit of reminders to myself and everybody about the state that the ocean is in right now due to our abusing it.
As artists, it's our job and our duty to be the ones who say the things that people don't want to say.
Exactly.
Whether it's through paint or music or acting.
Let's take care of the ocean. It's not just a pretty place. It's much more than that.
It's kind of captivating to see the little amounts that go into bringing up these layers, but the detail, just every little stroke makes it pop out just so much more.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I enjoy now, is that I no longer stress about what it looks like right now. I enjoy the process because I know that with every brushstroke it's going to get closer to my intended vision, so I could create with joy rather than criticizing what it's looking like in its current state.
And it's kind of the reason I think I love paint so much is if you do make that mistake, you can fix it.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Acrylics are so forgiving because they dry so fast, so I'm never worried about making mistakes. And Bob Ross's happy accident thing is very true as well. So I'm not, I don't get too worried about those things. And that's one thing I really work hard on with my students, is training them to let go, that they're constantly worried about making a masterpiece, and that's not what it's about.
I think as creatives, we're kind of forced to think that we're inevitably going to make a failure. And I find that a lot of the time those mistakes end up being the ones that are the most loved.
Yeah, it's true. And it's funny when sometimes one of the pieces you hate the most is somebody's favorite and stuff like that. It's also subjective, right?
Yeah. You
might be obsessing over the technical aspect of a piece, and somebody else just feels the emotion or likes the colors, or there's something. Art resonates with every single person differently. So that's one thing that I'm really grateful for. Is people often say that they're they see my art as very unique, and they see my individual style, and to me that's a huge compliment. Because I would never want my art to look like somebody else's.
I've never seen anything that looks like what you do. No, hands down, I've never.
Yeah, that's the best compliment I could ever get.
It's one thing I always wonder when I look at people I meet through the show and seeing their artwork and the creative aspects that they do. It's in 100 years, who knows if the painting that I'm watching get painted, it becomes the next Da Vinci painting or Picasso painting or,
Yeah.
you know, like in the future.
Well, there's that whole cliche of artists not getting known until after they die. But
100%.
That's the thing. I've never been interested in fame as an artist. It seems like we're encouraged to be like being famous is the goal if you're an artist, but to me it doesn't seem very appealing. It's more so I want my work to be recognized. I want to be able to continue to pursue a career as an artist, and those are more important goals to me than fame.
Which is a good core belief to have. One thing I've struggled with as a musician for years, and why I took a big break from music, was that misconception of what I wanted versus what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or what I thought I should do versus what I initially want.
Yeah, I mean, we get things that are put in our heads by society, and we sometimes believe those things, but then we have to reevaluate.
On average, how many hours are you putting into per painting?
I mean, this is a small piece, so I've been working on it at least a few days now. I'm very fast because I know my techniques and I know what I'm doing, so I feel like I could actually create a painting very quickly, but there's a lot of hours. It's always days, weeks, months.
Yeah.
A larger piece, weeks, months sometimes. So as far as hours, I'm not so sure, but...
Is it ever hard for you to let go of those pieces when they sell?
No, not anymore, because I produce so much that I'm like, brings me a lot of joy to sell my art, and also I need the space, so take it away. And I document all my work really well, so I still have it.
That's awesome.
I don't need to have the physical paintings. I think that's why a lot of artists like really overprice their work, because they don't actually want to sell it.
I never thought about that. That's actually, yeah. I have a hard time putting a price on myself.
Yeah, I mean,
as an artist.
It's something I've kind of learned over. Actually, it's funny, we just mentioned Andrew. She kind of like mentioned a formula for pricing art that I've used sometimes now, by square inch.
Oh yes, she was explaining that to me.
And it works. It's good for explaining to people like why piece is what it is, price wise.
People don't get that. I think that's also why a lot of people are very hesitant to buy artwork, is they think, oh, is it worth that much? But like, you'll go out and spend a couple $100 on drinks and a dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Spend it on a piece of artwork that you're going to appreciate for your life.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have been fortunate that I've been selling my art for many years, so, but it's not the goal at all. I really believe that if you start trying to make art that you think people are going to buy, then your art is going to really suffer for that. So, because I've found that when I make art that's genuine and really comes from me, then people see that. They see that it's authentic, and that's what makes them want to buy it. Not that I'm painting something that I think people will want to buy.
That's totally fair. Have you ever drawn any tattoos for anybody, or designed one?
Well, I've designed a lot of mine.
Oh, okay.
But then I asked the artist to put it in their own style. Like, I designed this one after my grandmother died as a tribute to her, and then he put it in his style.
That's awesome.
I would say like at least half of my tattoos
You've designed.
because I'm an artist, obviously I have a concept of what I want, and sometimes I'll be just like do whatever, but usually for a tattoo I like to have a bit of involvement with it.
As a person who loves artwork and creative people, tattoos is one that I cannot wait to sit and talk to, because as painters and drawers and musicians, we can make mistakes.
Yeah, I know, it's a very intense art form, and your creativity is causing pain, so it's...
I never thought of it that way, yeah.
I mean, it's pain that is asked for, but it's still... your marks that you're making cause pain, so it's a different...
Yeah, there's so much to it, like the depth that you have to go in and the amount of water or whatever you're doing to take down the pigment.
Yeah, I admire the skill for sure in tattoos. I've been doing drag for 15 years, and it's something that nowadays so many people like look down on drag artists, and there's so much negativity and everything like that. But I'm like, this is who I am. Like, I don't care what people think.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm lucky because I've always been kind of a freak. I've always been bullied. I've always been an outsider. So I don't have that deep need for approval from society. I appreciate the, when people like what I do, and that when I get respected and praised for what I do, but it's not my motivating factor. And that's, like I said, that's one reason I stepped away from being so much in the public eye at the studio, because you feel people's perceptions starting to shape what you're doing, like thinking, oh, well, maybe if I paint something, more appealing to the local people, that, I will sell it. Like, when those thoughts start to creep in, to me, that's not okay.
I think that the fact that you've made it is a huge testament to your skill, your resilience, your undying love for what you create, whichever art form that may be. I'm a heavy advocate for is like being a parent myself, and growing up as a musician, I was always told, like, you're never going to make it as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you always have to have a backup.
Yeah.
Or go to school. Yeah, like, don't quit your day job. And it wasn't until I realized, like, this is what I meant to do, and there's nothing else that I was put on this planet for, that it really started to just fall into place. And I think that if we encourage creatives and children and younger people, not even necessarily younger people, even older people who want to pick it up, to be creative, that there's nothing negative is going to come out of being creative.
No, what's the worst going to happen? You're going to make some art, like...
Exactly. Whether or not you intended it or what it comes out as, but, like, I definitely can understand how creating your artwork has created, I don't want to say necessarily a safe place, but it has become like the ocean is...
It's my haven. It's
right? Like that...
The world is a scary place out there, so I like to dwell in my own inner worlds and kind of deal with reality that way.
I think that being creative is like, it's our duty to almost be controversial. Whether or not it's a controversial painting or the way we think or what we're writing, right? But it's expression.
Well, in a world that only values money, being an artist and being someone who values creativity before anything else is controversial. Because we're told that, the biggest aspiration you can have is to be rich and to have more than others. That's what we're raised to believe in our society. So when you're an artist, it's quite a different just life philosophy. It's about valuing creativity and versus just like making money and having things.
I think it's if you're not going to invest in yourself, no one else will.
That's true.
Right?
That's very true, yeah. I mean, that's why I've had to become very self-sufficient, and that's why I value being self-employed, is because at the end of the day, everybody is very much in our world today about themselves and about their own survival, which we have to be. Yeah. So if you're not going to do it yourself, no one is going to do it for you.
It's quite amazing to get to sit and talk daily with people who follow their dreams and inspire the next generation to follow their dreams, right? Because, like, this came out of your mind. This is like, that's what blows me away, is that you think of these magical places and you can put them onto canvas so that people can embrace it and enjoy it. And it's just such a magical art form that, I don't know, I love it.
Well, it's a cliche, follow your dreams, but you have two choices: follow your dreams or just follow the herd. Do what society tells you need to do. And I've learned that anytime I've follow that other path, it's not taking me to the right place. It hasn't brought me happiness or joy or satisfaction, and it's brought quite the opposite. So yes, that whole follow your dreams, be brave, do it.
Fair. I want to thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
this. This has been absolutely incredible. Make sure you guys check them out. How can they find you on social?
So it's all Shannon Lester art, both on Instagram and Facebook, and my website is shannonlester.com.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you again for doing this. It's been
Thank
incredible.
you.
I'm Robb O'Day, and this has been StoryHive on Location Kelowna. We catch you guys next time. If you'd like to be on the show, there will be a QR code that you can scan, and it'll send you to a form that you fill out, and we will get you on the show as a guest. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time.